Good evening and welcome to the Hemingway Jones live fountain pen show, our little corner of the internet, where we talk about fountain pens, inks, journals, and journaling, and just about anything and everything that's going to keep you inspired, keep you writing, keep you focused, keep you enjoying your fountain pens, this fountain pen addiction that we all share. So I hope you're all well. It's a beautiful day here in Massachusetts, almost 80, still really hot. I hope it's nice and warm and safe where you are. That's very important. Want to extend an extra warm hello to all of you that show up each Tuesday evening for the chat. The live chat is a great opportunity to kind of share your passions with some of the other folks that are here in real time. Super fun. But if you're watching the replay, I also keep it going there. The comment section always keeps the conversation going. So thank you to all the members and thank you to all the returning viewers. I appreciate you guys so much, and you guys are distracting me with a lot of love for my new shirt. Thank you very much. I did buy a new shirt. I have a bit of a story to tell this evening. I took a trip to the Prudential, which is a mall. I don't like malls. I'm not a mall person, but I do make an exception for the Pru. I do like the Pru because it's kind of interesting. It kind of has more going. Okay, just testing my camera there. We're going to need that in a minute. The Pru has some shops, including a Mont Blanc boutique. And that's where our story will head shortly. Our main topic this evening, though, is kind of a pause. A pause. It's kind of taking a pause before you make your next purchase or your first purchase if you're contemplating a purchase of a fountain pen. Some of the things I think of, I consider, I'm going to share with you. I think it's really important to consider these things, to just take a moment to reflect. So thanks for all the shirt love. I appreciate it. You guys are distracting me. So I do want to show you some of the pens that I am using these days. It's a little different. A little different. I've kind of honed it down to two at this point. The camera's pointing to a funny place. I had a feeling my camera was a little off. That's okay. We're going to adjust it. This was one of those nights where I sort of popped in just before showtime because I was hanging out with my daughter, who is so fun. Okay, so I've been using the Aurora Optima so much. Optima. I keep changing its gender. I am messing it up. It is Optima. So this has the Kirk Spear cursive italic. I'll use this paper. Seems like I've already used it. I do post this pen. Not always, but often. That's pretty nice, right? Little Compeki action. Very nice, right? Yeah, I really like it. You get a nice rhythm with this. Yeah, okay. So this, I'm using quite a bit. Aurora Optima with Kirk Spear's cursive smooth italic. CSI. Very nice. Very nice pen and nib. By the way, ink level window can see that Konpeki ink shining through. Very orangey pen, kind of the color of a tangerine, right? When do you call it? Sort of a tangerine or orange. Very orange. The flakes have a bit of yellow, and it's bracketed with black. It's very Italian. Very much Sorrento in the summertime. I really enjoy writing with this. I think out of the two that Kirk just did, I like this one the best. I think. The Pelican's nice too, but there's something about this. I like how it's a bit wider. Very pretty. Kind of a rose gold nib on there. Very nice. Beautiful metal around the cap. I guess I'll probably review this now. I don't think I've ever actually talked about this pen on the channel because I wasn't that enthused, but I'm feeling much better about it these days. Oh, I see some love for it. And I need to recognize someone before I talk about my next pen. A lovely super chat from James McNamara. Thank you so much. 1837, $9.99 super chat. Thank you. Leaving for Rome on Friday for a guitar workshop. Getting my fountain pen cleaned and inked tonight. Sorry, I lost it. Good for you, Rome. Wow, that'll be so much fun. I am really happy for you. Rome is a blast. There's some great pen shops there. There's one over by the Vatican that I love, and there's another one. Is it Stilograph Corsani? I forget the names. And then there's one over by the Pantheon. And there's also tons of stationery. You're going to have a blast. Have a great time, and thank you for your generous super chat and support. Thank you. So this is a Pelican 805 with a metal sleeve, this silver sleeve laser cut. It's a little bit tactile. Kind of like that. I believe it's a rhodium nib. Oh, really pretty. It's a fine nib. Which is interesting. Oh, geez. I'm like filling this one up. You gotta find a little space. Okay. Yamabudo in here, rather. Look at that Yamabudo. Love that ink. Gorgeous. First ink in here. Oh, also there's an ink level window. It's very subtle. I'll show it to you in a sec. Can you see through it? I don't want to give you problems. So, oh, you know what I'll use? Let me see. I have a flashlight. Let me try to dim it down. This is one of those flashlights that's like a lot of candlelight. So we'll just do that. Do you see? See the ink level? Isn't that interesting? It's so fun, right? It's in a weird spot. But, you know, I like quirky things. Oh, sorry. It's down there, too. The whole thing is. Yeah, okay. I was going to say, I thought it was lower. So you can see through it until you get to the top. Isn't that cool? It's going to be hard to photograph. I need a sunny day. But I like the retro-ness about it. Yamabudo. This is beautiful nib. So precise. But still smooth even though it's a fine. It's really great. Really great. Look at that nib. Gorgeous. So, yeah. Very, very pretty pen. Very pretty pen. This one's interesting. I already wrote a script for this. I should do the Aurora Optima too. Hey, how's the hair coming along? Believe it or not, I got a cut, but just the sides and the back. The wave. Hokusai would be jealous of my wave. So, very good stuff. Did somebody say, I missed the comment, but I kind of saw it fly by. I think they were making fun of me for using the term photographing, but that just tells you how old I am, that I consider it photography when I'm recording my videos. I do say I'm making films. They're certainly not films. They're videos. But to me, it's like making a film. And of course, I take it very seriously. Whoa, I just kicked my desk. I take it very, very seriously. And I work really hard to keep the videos interesting for you guys. So I hope you enjoy them. There's definitely some interesting ones going up, and we'll talk a bit about last week's video, which was a lot of fun, and this week's video. Then we'll get into our main topic. But I do want to recognize Parks 179 with a $5 super chat. Thank you so much. The store beside the Pantheon is called Novelli. I just got a Pelican M800 from there, and he sells the whole Pelican lineup at a discount. Well, there you go. I didn't know the name. I wish I remembered, but I was there. When was I there, guys? You probably, it was a year in November, so a year and a half ago. I was in Rome, Florence, and Venice with the family and had an absolute blast. Thank you so much for that super chat. I appreciate it. Also, thanks for all the thumbs up, guys. I appreciate that too. Okay, so let me tell a story. So I went for a haircut on Saturday. I had a blast. My family came with me, which is very nice, because normally you go for a haircut, nobody wants to come with you. And where I get my haircut is about a half hour from where I live. I'm very loyal guy. And my barber is awesome. She is very talented. I've been going to her for at least 6 or 7 years, and she's very, very good. Actually, before the pandemic. So, very, very good. Master barber, does a great job. But it's far from here because, you know, my office used to be in that town. Now it's not. So I went in, got my haircut, and then we went to a cafe on the Common in Waltham, which is a lovely spot. And if you follow along on my Instagram, I took some pics, some fresh hair pics and all that. You know, narcissism on display there. And had a great croissant and coffee and just a really nice time. And Imogen is so lovely, so fun to hang out with. And we're walking back, and she says to me, she says, Daddy, let's take a walk. And we, you know, kind of walked around Waltham and then made our way back to the car. And she said, I don't want to go home yet. And I said, let's go to the Pru. We hadn't been there for a while. And I always have a good time at the Pru. My daughter loves Sephora. Makeup's her thing. I know Mont Blanc's there at Copley Place. I may use the term Copley Place and Pru interchangeably, but there is a distinction. Copley Place, and then there's a walkway, and then you get into the Pru. I always park it at the Pru and then go over the walkway over to Copley Place, where Mont Blanc is. If you live in Boston and you're screaming at the screen, doesn't he know the difference? I do, but I'm just speaking loosely. We're friends. Speaking among friends here. And so I go to Ralph Lauren. I love Ralph Lauren. There's some people who work there that are passionate about Ralph Lauren. And I love that. I used to be friends with some buyers for Ralph Lauren that stopped by Bobby from Boston's vintage place, and we'd have lunch. It was always interesting because they were academics about clothes. They were like clothes historians. And so is Ralph. If you know anything about Ralph Lauren, I won't go on too long about this. It's like my other channel, if I do. But Ralph Lauren's very much a scholar of classic American and classic British clothing. And he picks up pieces and has his buyers pick up pieces from vintage shops, and then he replicates them. And he does so very, very well. Very high quality. So I go in there. Thomas is in there usually, and Sivan, and they're both really into Ralph. And they're a blast to just talk to. And I saw this shirt, which is not so much vintage like, 100 years ago, but it warmed my heart because this looks like the shirts I wore in the 1980s with the pastel plaids, and I just had to have it. So I bought it, and it's been great. I've been wearing it a lot. I probably should wash it soon, but it's really quite good. So after that, we got Shake Shack, which I like, even though I think Italy's a little better to eat at, but there's no Shake Shack near me, and their fries are just so good. So we did that, and then we went over to Mont Blanc, and this is where perhaps my story gets interesting as far as the world of fountain pens go. So if you've been watching this channel for a while, you probably know that there's a bit of a pause anytime before I walk into Mont Blanc, because that was the site of me trying to return my Wes Anderson pen, which did not go well at first, but then ultimately the manager was very nice and took it back and credited me. Although it took days to credit me, actually, and I was a little nervous because I had no pen. I just had someone's promise that they would credit me. But they did, which was nice. I mean, big company, it's reputable, but still, it made me a little nervous. Now, that was all last year, last June, to be precise. But I decided to go in again, have a look. And it was interesting because they had some of the new Burgundy fountain pens. Burgundy. They had a 145 and a 146. And they were pretty, They're very, very pretty pens. But I have, as you probably know, I have a 147 in Bordeaux, which is an awesome pen. And to be frank, I think Bordeaux is much prettier than the Burgundy, in my opinion. It's darker. It's got a little bit more brown tone to it, as opposed to the Burgundy, which is a little bit more red. So I just prefer this, personally. I also love anything that's sort of old. This is from the 90s. Of course, 147 has perfect proportions, like a 146. Perfect. Really nice balance. Or a Sailor 1911L, also very, very similar. So I went in, and I guess this is where I am susceptible to impulse buys. To make an impulse buy. I certainly could. So I'm looking at them, and I'm thinking, well, it wouldn't be the worst thing to have another burgundy red Mont Blanc of some sort. And I just asked them which ones they had on hand. I said, which do you have on hand? And he told me, of course, 145, 146. And I was like, oh, you have any 149s? He said, no, we don't have any 149s. And he said, this was the interesting part, I thought. He said, I told you before, you need to put a deposit down on them. And I found that curious. And so I asked him, I said, well, I didn't ask him. I stated a fact. I said, we didn't discuss this. I've never mentioned that to you. But for some reason, he thought we had had a conversation where I had asked about that. And I never have. It was an impulse buy for me. But I found it interesting. He was almost aggressive about it, which was interesting and strange. He said, oh, no, I told you. You have to put a deposit down on that. Now, it would take, I don't know what it would take for me to put another deposit down on a Mont Blanc pen. That process did not go well for me, and I don't think I would do that. So I certainly didn't discuss it with him. I also hadn't seen that gentleman. I think he was there the day I returned my Wes Anderson pen, and I'm wondering if maybe that whole scenario, that whole contretemps, made such a big impression on him that he conflated that with another conversation. I don't know. But, yeah, it wasn't me. It wasn't me. But I found it interesting. Now, the other thing I found interesting was that they had 100-year Meisterstück 149 in coral, and is very pretty. I have the 100-year Meisterstück, but it's not in coral. But next to it, they had a demonstrator. They had a 149 demonstrator, which I hadn't seen. And he was a little upset with me that I was obsessed with the demonstrator. I wanted that. I wanted to see if I could buy it. But yeah, he thought it was weird. But it was so much more interesting than any other pen in there, to be honest. Except for some of the snake pens were fun. David Pearson, $5 super chat. Thank you. With the Romeo and Juliet series, MB has come back. Got a Romeo and Juliet solitaire legend, and it's exquisite. Maybe they have turned to corner back to excellence. Hey, thanks for the super chat. I appreciate it. Perhaps. I did see the Romeo and Juliets were there, and they are very, very pretty. Very pretty pens. I hope their nibs are better, because the QC in Mont Blanc is kind of rubbish, as we all know lately. But the notebooks, the Romeo and Juliet notebooks, the journals are so pretty, but the paper is rubbish, they tell me. So I was very, very disappointed about that. But yeah, sounds like very pure customer service. It kind of was. It was a little on the aggressive side. I don't know why. You know, the staff at Mont Blanc in Vancouver are also quite snobby. I wouldn't call him snobby. I would just call him, I don't know, just almost like defensive. Maybe he's watched some of my videos being critical. But no, he had no idea who I am. Not that I am anyone, but, you know, there was no influence or privilege going on there, believe me. Gwen, my ST DuPont D5 is supposed to arrive this evening. Congratulations. What a find. The $339 eBay version. Way to go. I am psyched for you. It's a fantastic price. You have chosen wisely. So yeah, I found that really odd with the Mont Blanc. But let's move on, shall we? I want to talk a little bit about my video, and then we're going to get into our main topic. So last week, I put out the top 5 fountain pens for old money, which was really just an excuse for me to write short stories about characters that I fell in love with while I was writing. And I had an absolute blast. And I found some supportive B-roll on a free B-roll site, which was brilliant and really helped. And just had a lot of fun and put a lot of work into that video. It's not easy when you have an edit almost every 6 seconds. It's a lot of work. It takes a lot of time. But that video felt like a film, and I was very pleased with the pacing, with the characterizations and everything else. So I had a really good time making it. And it seems like it was genuinely solidly received by you guys, and I appreciate you giving it a nice warm embrace and enjoying it too. I love the comments. I read probably most of them, if not all, and I appreciate that all the time with your comments. That's right, Joe Brown got his first Mont Blanc this week. Congratulations, Joe. Good job. I'm proud of you too, my friend. You should have come with me to Peru over the weekend. You could have been at my back in a bar fight, in a Mont Blanc fight. You and me taking them on. But yeah, it was fun. Anyway, so the old money video had an absolute blast. Pick some interesting pens. Try to pick other pens too, not just the predictable ones. Sometimes if I feel like I'm talking about a pen too much, I'll let it sit out a bit. Like the ST DuPont Defy, I could put that in almost every list. At some point, it has to sit out, and it sat that one out. I did include the Pelican M809, which I thought was a great choice. Matte black pen compared with a black sailboat. That was super fun. If you haven't seen this video, then please do watch it. I think you'll enjoy it. I think you'll enjoy the characters. And I'm probably going to do some more in that style with different topics. And I'm thinking about that now, what I'll do next. Because I do try to keep it original and interesting. Like a man. No pen for old men. I could do the Anton Chigurh. I could do that. Call it. Flipping a coin. I like it. Good comment. So, yeah, I put that video up there. You always get some people who take videos the wrong way, and there was a bit of that. There were a few people being critical of the fact that my pens are not spotless. And I did want to talk about that because I think it's important. I think it's very important. My pens, being the way they are, which is used. I use and abuse my pens. Sometimes I don't clean them before I change inks. I am reckless with my inks sometimes. Sometimes I love the spontaneity of not cleaning a pen and mixing a red ink with a blue ink and just seeing what I get. I like that. I find it interesting and thrilling, and I find it pulls me out of sort of complacency. Where I have a blue ink and then there's red on top of it. And sometimes it fades. If you swap out cartridges, you can fade from red to blue, and it's beautiful. And if you just do it as I do sometimes and just fill it, then you never really know what you're going to get. Let me take a moment to recognize Texas Easy Writer with the $10 super chat. Thank you so much. Appreciate the support of the channel. Thank you. Great video, great and clever editing. Made me homesick for the Northeast and especially Philadelphia. Thanks so much. I really appreciate that. I'm glad it resonated with you. I really enjoyed making that video, so thank you. And Ink Stained Adventures with the $10 super chat. Thank you so much. How about a video on pens of historic figures, Winston and the Conway Stewart, MacArthur, some good pens, people with pens. I have done some of those. I found I was getting diminished returns and it happens a lot where I'll do like fountain pens in movies, and the first one's really popular, and then I do a second, no one cares. So I did do a bit of that, but maybe I'm due to do another. So I will do that. That's a great idea, Ink Stained. Thank you. And thank you for your generous support. So some folks, and I get it, especially if you watch my videos on a television, you do pick up much more. I don't sanitize my pens. I was actually thrilled when I recorded recently with the Skyline because I had a clean one and I had a used one. So I could make it really, really aesthetic. But it's a aesthetic choice of mine not to go too far in sanitizing my pens. They have ink stains, they have scratches, they have sometimes old ink stuck to them. Occasionally they'll have random ink spots on them, especially the nibs. I think completely clean nibs are nice, but they're kind of boring. I think a nib looks great with like a smear of ink running up the center or a little dots and dribbles on the side. I like them in use, and especially for a video like the Pens of Old Money. There's a certain insouciance to that. There's a poise. There's a lack of attention because it's more of a tool. You love it and you cherish it, but you're not going to hurt it. I think sometimes we can be overly precious with our pens. And I, for one, like to use them and enjoy them. Somebody recently, I wish I could remember which pen, but there was someone who DM'd me and was like, "You didn't ink that up, did you?" And I'm like, "Of course I did." I mean, if I bought a Hemingway, a Montblanc Hemingway, new in the box, new old stock, and I bought it, and let's say it was a lot of money. I probably wouldn't buy it if it was a lot of money. I'm being very careful these days. That's what our main topic is. But let's pretend I did. I took it back home and I unboxed it. I would ink it up immediately on camera and write with it immediately. I don't buy things not to write with them. I bought a lettre of 22, right? Is it 22? Yeah. Typewriter. The Ripley one. The Talented Mr. Ripley with Jude Law. That typewriter. I bought it brand new in the box. Someone won it in a Tupperware from Tupperware. They must have been like a Tupperware salesperson. And they won it and they put it in the back of their closet. And it was there for, I don't know, 50 years, 60 years. And then they sold it and I bought it. And the first thing I did was I put a ribbon on it and I typed with it. And it was fantastic. And it's right there. I still have it and I still pull it out sometimes. It's got great action. It makes a fantastic noise. And I feel like Dickie Greenleaf every time I type with it. Yeah, I get a pen, I'm writing with it. And I like the aesthetics of use. I love seeing ink splatter. I keep it all in. It does annoy me when cat hair gets on there. But my eyes aren't that great and I don't always see it. So what can I do? I'm doing my best, right? Josh Sapiro, my friend, $9.99. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for the pen pal list. I feel like I've already made a couple of new friends. Thank you for joining. Your support, all that means a lot, guys. Means a lot to me. The pen pal group, I'll just say quickly since you gave me a nice transition. If you join the channel as a member, and there's a join button, I think on this side, click on it. There's different levels. I do videos for everyone, and for Illuminati and Cognoscenti, there's a pen pal group. I always send a welcome letter out to you, and then you can correspond with anyone you want. And there's lovely people in the group, and it's a lot of fun. So consider it. All right, so this week's video is... Oh, and thank you, Josh. If I didn't say thank you, I really appreciate it. Thank you for the super chat. This week's video is Schaefer versus Schaefer. It's like a law. It's like a court filing. Schaefer versus... It's like a divorce case. Like Kramer versus Kramer. Only it's Schaefer versus Schaefer. So it's the old legacy versus the new legacy. We compare them philosophically. We compare their souls. We compare their nibs. We compare how they write, their design, the style, how they feel. I go into the history of Schaefer. It wouldn't be Hemingway Jones if I didn't. A lot of interesting edits in this one. I think you'll enjoy it. This Thursday at noon. Fantastic. Next week is Ferris Wheel Press. I hope you guys will watch that. My videos with Ferris Wheel Press, usually nobody watches. I don't know why. I don't know if you guys just don't like them. I do like them. I definitely find them interesting thematically. Especially the Juul pen. I wanted to see if it was better than the brush pen, which I had a long time ago. And I got sent two. And they're Harry Potter themed, and I know nothing about Harry Potter. So I took it as an opportunity to research Harry Potter and give you kind of a video on it. Good, bad, and ugly. Do I shy away from the controversy? I do not. I mention it. I always do. Whenever there's something controversial and I know about it, I don't always know about it. Sometimes I can be sort of deliciously clueless, if you will. A couple of the writers I featured ended up having some nasty stuff, but that was after the fact. I couldn't possibly know that. But yeah, sometimes I just don't know things. I didn't know there was a controversy about Harry Potter for a long time. I just figured, hey, it's one of those popular things I'm not into. I'm into plenty of other stuff that's nerdy, just not that. So I take a deep dive next week. I think you'll enjoy it. I hope you watch it. And I got some other stuff too I'm going to put up because I have so many ideas. I got to get these out. I got to get these out to you guys. So I think you'll enjoy it. Okay, so tonight I wanted to talk a little bit about my collection and my thoughts on purchasing. And I think at some point I'm going to do a state of the collection video. It changed. It went off on a tangent I wasn't expecting. And that's what's so fascinating about fountain pens, inks, and journals and journaling, to be honest. there's often tangents that you follow that you didn't expect. I didn't expect to hear from Hazel. Hi, Hazel, one of my favorite people. $20. Thanks so much for the support of the channel, Hazel. I feel like a lot of people freaking out about slightly messy pens comes from the inherent idea that we must always be saving things for the ideal day in the future. It's a silly idea. Ink pens up, use stickers, enjoy life. Thank you, Hazel. Thank you for your kind and generous support and just for being a cool person. And you are. I agree. I agree that we do try to save things. And I have myself tried to save many things in my life that I ended up not using. There were clothes that I couldn't afford when I was younger and I bought, and then I didn't wear, and then they either went out of fashion if they were in fashion. Probably not that, because look at me, I don't dress in fashion. But I probably put on weight and I couldn't wear it or something. Now I buy something, I wear it. You know, I remember quickly when I was back in the 1980s, had no money, working my way through college, and I went in this department store on Mainline Avenue in Philadelphia, and there was a Giorgio Armani trench coat for sale, and I knew Armani was like cool, so I bought it, and it was a lot of money for me then. I think it was like $400 on sale, and that's a lot of money. But that was probably 40 years ago. That trench coat's in my closet. I still have it. I still wear it. So I would say I got my money's worth. David Pearson's my friend. Thank you. $5 super chat. Thank you. Fountain pens are for using, not just for sitting sealed in a box. I agree. Pens are functional art and should be both appreciated as art and function. Ink it up. I agree, but I will say in defense of my critics, and thank you for your generosity, David. I appreciate it. In defense of my critics, I think they're dinging me because my pens are so messy. And I like a little bit of chaos. I'm a very ordered person. I'm very disciplined. I'm very organized. I like that my pens are a little chaotic. For instance, I don't know how many pens I own at the moment. I would guess somewhere around 130. Guess? Probably 90 of them are filled. To be honest, 90. And that's part of the reason why they look that way, because sometimes I film, I set them aside and I forget. And then I go back and I'm like, oh, I want to film with this, and I'll ink it up. And there's probably remnants of the previous inking. I don't clean it and put it in an autoclave. You know, I'm just not that type of guy. I like to use it. Okay. Mel95. $10 super chat. Thanks so much. Appreciate it. Thanks for your generosity. Thanks to your Watcherman reviews, I'm writing with a Watcherman Karen. Just my third fountain pen, forming words smoothly in Watcherman Serenity Blue and Diamond Oxford Blue. Great ink choices, my friend. Great ink choices. Well done. Here's to the Karen. Thank you. Featured the Karen, Mel. As you know, I bet you know this, Mel. The Karen was featured in 5 pens for old money from last week. So check that out. Okay. So my collection took a really strange turn this year, and much of it is thanks to Yost. Yost Appleboom. Because Yost sent me a care package full of stuff that just changed me, and it's probably going to end up in fountain pens I'm thankful for when I do that at Thanksgiving. These pens change my perspective on what fountain pens can be and do and what they can look like. And yeah, they're pricey pens. I get it. But that's what makes it so radical. I was not buying any more Grail pens this year. I was lying low. And then Yost just sent me a box of Grail pens. It's crazy. He sent me an 805 and 809 from Pelican. He sent me a Scribo, which is just absolutely brilliant, and a Watcherman Karen in L'Opera version. Unbelievable stuff, and so much generosity, and some Safaris, the full Harry Potter set in one box. Just brilliant stuff. But it changed where my direction was, because I was very much exploring value pens like Hongdian M2, which, brilliant pen. Some pens are really good, but kind of boring, kind of uninspiring. The long blade Hongdian is something everyone should experience. That is not that. It's not boring or uninspiring. Some of the other ones from Chinese manufacturers, they can be solid and good, but not necessarily inspiring for me. But this, surprising, just really took me off on a tangent. And then the custom nib grinds. That's, Michael Fiedler. I always forget how to say his name. I should ask him. He's a friend of mine. I keep messing up his name. But you know me. I'm bad at that. He wrote the Working Journal. Fantastic photojournalist and just interesting, lovely guy. I saw him last at the Commonwealth Fountain Pen Show. I hope to see him again. But anyway, he uses cursive smooth italic nibs. It's his secret weapon. And it's kind of mine too now. But in approaching my pen collection, and I'm trying to be much more curated. I know you've heard me say forever that I'm going to sell a bunch of pens. I ended up giving a bunch of pens away. A couple Mont Blanc pens and a bunch of a bunch of pens. I'm trying to remember where some of them, Scrivener and a few others, I think a Benu, and a bunch of pens I just gave away. And the reason is that I wanted to have a more curated collection. I didn't sell them because a lot of what I was going to sell, I decided to hold on to because I do film quite a bit with pens. It's hard to let go when you're suddenly like, oh, I really need a pen like that to film with. So, and some things I just wouldn't let go. But I've been giving a lot away. But in doing that, when I approach a pen, excuse me, and a pen purchase, I always lose my voice, but we're hanging in. We're going to make it. When I am considering a pen purchase, and I'll tell you some of what I'm looking at now. I still like the Verve pen from Cross. That's an interesting pen to me. Beautiful. It has problems, major problems, but I don't care. I like it. My friend Lucas Bell let me use his, and I've been in love with it ever since. So I asked myself, how does this fit into my collection? What does it do? What does it do for me that something else doesn't do? Does it move something aesthetically? Does it challenge one of my assumptions? Does it force me to write differently, to think differently as I write? That is a very design-forward pen, so I can understand that. It definitely hits all those, but I also have to be willing to part with treasure. I think of things now a little differently. I'm like an odometer, right? It's not the years, it's the mileage, but I'm about to hit another mile. This May is my birthday. I think I'm 2 weeks from my birthday, and I'm not 60, but I'm 59, which is kind of mind-blowing. I don't know where the time went. 2 weeks ago, I was dancing to 99 Luftballons at the prom, and now here I am. How did I get here? How did I get here? I don't know. Water flowing underground. Well, same as it ever was. All right, I got to stop. So, in that, I do realize I make a decent living. I work hard. I have a career. I love my job. It's very challenging. I mean, there's days it wrecks me. There's days I'm on the top of the world, and there's days that I'm buried beneath it. Today was the latter. But, some days are better than others. What are you going to do? But at some point, my watch will be over. At some point, I will be retired. And I guess then I won't have the same level of cash flow. I will have that which I've saved over the years. And I intend to plunge headlong into YouTube, so I'm going to have some kind of a career because I want to express myself in videos when I retire, which would be a lot of fun. You'll see a lot more of me. I'll probably go live more than once a week when I'm retired and enjoy it. But in thinking of that kind of mindset, if you take $1,000 and you can invest it towards something, or it's going into a pen, it better be a good pen. It better do something and challenge me and inspire me, most of all. Inspiration is really the big part for me. So, inspiration is important. Another thing is a big consideration before buying your next pen. Where are you going to put it? What is your pen system? Somebody just sent me a pen box, now that I remember. I'm terrible. I have a bunch of boxes that have been sent to me that I haven't opened. And I know there's a pen storage box in there. I need to open it, but I'm getting distracted. But I think it's a valid concern that if you're buying a pen or about to buy a pen, you have to ask yourself, do I have space for it? Where can I put it? Texas Easy Writer, $5 super chat. Thank you. The more you write, the younger you get. Exactly. I always thought so. So I'll keep writing. I'm actually not doing too bad for my age physically. I'm pretty happy. I got a lot of hair. It's not completely gray. It's a bit gray, but not totally. My face isn't super wrinkly. My age has been kind so far, but I'll probably go through the wall. I'll hit the wall some point. Probably face first at some point. But yeah, so the challenge, and thank you for your generosity. I do appreciate it. And by the way, I do want to say my father died at 26. He was 26. He had 2 boys. I was 18 months old when my father died. He didn't have the privilege to complain about being 59. I'm very much aware of that. I carry my father with me. I've never seen him in my memory, but there's a promise that needs to be fulfilled. I'm living for both of us. So I don't want you to think I'm taking this for granted. It's a privilege. Growing old is a privilege. So where are you going to put your pen as you grow old? And then what do you use it for? And I think this is a serious consideration and something we could probably do a whole show on. But sometimes we choose the wrong pen for the wrong situation. I have a pen I'm about to film with from a German company called Ashera. And it's a wood pen and it's quite big. And I can't wait to review it because you guys need to hear about it. And I wrote a great script. I can't wait to film it. But what's important in this one is it's not a pen you're going to carry around with you. It's not designed for that. And a lot of pens aren't. If you're worried about your pens and you're paranoid about losing it, justifiably so, or damaging it, you probably don't want to carry a Montblanc 146 around with you. But a Lamy Safari is liberating. It can do so much for you because it'll write great and you don't have to worry about it. So I always ask yourself, what are you going to use it for? And also another very, very important question before you buy your next pen. You should ask yourself, is it a Pilot Custom 823? And if it's not, you should reconsider that purchase. You really should. Pilot Custom 823, oh, how I love thee. I need to film with you again very, very soon. On my list for this year is a clear, transparent Pilot Custom 823. It's $400 now. It's less of a bargain. It was quite a bargain when it was in the early 3s. Now it's just kind of worth it. I don't think any pen should be more than $450. I think the Montblanc 149 should be $450 personally. But yeah, if your next pen purchase is not the Pilot Custom 823, you should ask yourself why not. Mark Zimmer, 5467, 499 super chat. Thank you so much. Bought my first Korean last week, rather. And can't decide what ink to put in it. Suggestions. Thank you for your generosity. Well, I don't know what color it is. If you got the amber, I would say antique copper. Or is it ancient copper? I always forget. Someone help me out. Is it ancient or antique? One of those coppers. Very nice. I think reds work. If you got a blue, Serenity Blue is a great color. I mean, it's inexpensive, but it's a good guy ink. It's not going to hurt anything. I am a big fan of Serenity Blue for your blue pens. If you got L'Essence de Bleu. And then Golden Black, you could do Pearl Noir. Why not? Why not Pearl Noir? So going back, thank you for your generosity and congratulations on your Karen. It's a brilliant choice. Well done. Going back to, is it the Pilot Custom 823? If you ask yourself, is my next pen purchase that? If your choice is, well, I already own 3 of them, okay, then I get it. But otherwise, yeah. Friends don't let friends buy any other pens but the 823. Is that good? It's that good. Yes. Compecky's a lot of fun too, by the way, for inks. Compecky. So another thing you really kind of need to consider in buying your next pen purchase, if you live in the United States or another country that has tariffs, you have to ask, where's my pen coming from? And is the price being fully disclosed to me, or am I going to get a nasty text from DHL asking for another $75 or more? Because tariffs are really kind of slap in the face. It's quite a tax. It's a serious tax. It's an immediate tax that you feel, on top of your purchase. So be very wary of where you're buying it from, especially if you think you're getting a good deal and then suddenly you owe 20% of the pen price. That can be painful, quite painful, I'm afraid. So consider that as well. So anyway, so those are some of the things you should consider when you buy your next pen, how it fits into your collection, what you're going to use it for. Just enjoy it though, and just ink it and use it. And I guess I'm a little wary of those that buy so many pens that they never get a chance to fully enjoy them. I am sometimes guilty of that. I get a lot of pens at once. I need time to process them. So it takes me a little bit of time to successfully think about them and work them through. Uncommon Sister. Hi, Uncommon Sister. $5 super chat. I'll be in Paris for 2 weeks. If I already have an 823, what could I look for next? Oh, wow. That's a really good question, Uncommon Sister. And thank you for your generous support. In Paris, I was in Paris last summer. I had a blast. I went to... Actually, it's a shame you're not going in June. At the end of June, right before July, they have their big sales. And I got a Mont Blanc for like 50% off in a department store. It was crazy. But go to this department store. I wish I could remember the name of it. My wife would. But I think, find my video where I talk about buying the 149 in Paris last year. Please, find that video. I think it's called like Bon Marché or Bon Marchand or something like that. I think it's over by Saint-Germain. If someone could help me out in the comments, if you know what I'm talking about. I barely do because I forget. But it's in my video. That department store has a whole section on the top floor of fountain pens, and really good ones. Pilot Custom Marushis and the whole Pilot line. They had all the Pelicans, all the Mont Blancs. They had other ones that I can't remember. But they're all in my video. So check that out. And it's probably in my Paris video too. I did one called A Writable Feast. So if you haven't seen my Paris vlog called A Writable Feast, Bon Marché, see, you know what I'm talking about. So I think it's the top floor. Just go all the way up in the escalators. and it's on the back corner, and it's a huge stationery section. It's brilliant. And then there's also another pen shop. It's small, but it's nice, and it's over by the Arc de Triomphe, over off the Champs-Élysées. And I can't remember the name of the road, but it's right by La Flamme. So it's like the flame. It's a bistro, a cafe, and it has great duck. So what you need to do is go off the Champs-Élysées, go over to La Flamme, and have the duck confit. It's brilliant, and a spritz in my honor. That was my dish every time I went there. And then walk down a little ways, and on the left-hand side, there's a pen shop, and I don't recall its name. But it's nice, and they have quite a few, and they're very small, and they probably could use the business. But yeah, Bon Marché, thank you for that. That's exactly what it was. So catch that. So this week's video, guys, is Schaefer versus Schaefer. Don't miss it. It's the legacy versus the legacy. Is the new one worthy? In Wayne's World style. We're not worthy. Maybe it is. So my video will kind of put that all, enshrine it in a video for you with the history of Schaefer and everything else. I think you'll enjoy it. I think it'll be a lot of fun. Somehow we got through another hour. I don't know how. I had a blast. I hope you guys did. I hope you learned a little, laughed a little, and appreciated the great fellowship with all your friends here. And please say hello in the comments. I'd appreciate hearing from you. Thanks for being here, and new video on Thursday. And I'll be back next week for another exciting live episode of the Hemingway Jones Fountain Pen Show. So thank you all for being here. Oh, Mary, getting it right under the wire. Oh, Mary, I love Mary. $4.99 super chat. Thank you for the message of living your life with the purpose in light of your dad's short life. Thank you, Mary. Big hugs, Mary. Mary's awesome. I appreciate your generous support, all of you guys. So thank you all for watching. I'll see you all very soon, further up the road. And until then, stay well and stay inspired. Thanks so much.